Hi, I'm an alumni of the University of Melbourne, and today I take you on a big inside tour of the campus, the new student precinct, the iconic famous buildings, classrooms, libraries, and cafes. It's a rainy day, but hey, that's pretty normal in Melbourne. So if you want to see what that looks like, let's go. If you want to see other tours, I also have one of the University of New South Wales, and you can check out my other videos as well. I'm starting with the new student precinct. When I was studying here, this area was not ready yet, so this was actually the first time I was taking a look as well. If you're wondering if you should study at the University of Melbourne or are just simply curious as to what the campus looks like, this video will give you a great idea of what the campus looks like on a very normal weekday. For anyone who has been to Melbourne, the weather changes quite rapidly, so a rainy overcast day is actually quite normal. This is the newest food court that has opened up on campus. I honestly wish this existed when I was here, because when I was here, they were just about shutting down the old cafes, and we literally only had like one pizza place that we went to. They have Vietnamese food, as you can see, and so there's a wide variety of cuisines that you can choose from. What I didn't show was that there's also conveniently placed microwaves, sinks, and so you can bring your own food from home if you're on a budget or have any dietary concerns. The food is generally pretty reasonably priced for Melbourne. It is, after all, aimed at students. You'll see here you can get a meal deal for about 15 Australian dollars. I was about to say US dollars, but Australian dollars. So this is the new student precinct. It's really the heart of student life here. It's a really buzzing place with about 7 new buildings, and all these buildings are interconnected to each other, so you never actually have to leave one building to enter another. You'll see there the connection walkways on the second floor. This is one of the cafes in the student precinct called Thailander that has Thai food, and you'll see it's pretty busy. A lot of the campus cafes actually accept contactless payment, so you can use cards or Apple Pay if you don't want to use cash. There was even a bubble tea store, Gong Cha. This is the Student Union building, the new one of course. And they also have the Union Theatre here if you're ever interested in seeing some student plays. What was really cool was the amount of sitting areas they have for studying or just chilling and hanging out. They even had an art room where you could use it to maybe create your next masterpiece. And a lot of charging ports. So if you just needed to use your laptop and do a quick assignment or sit down and enjoy a leisurely lunch, this is a place that you can do that. When I was there, this was at about, I would say, noon time. So you can see there are a lot of students that are coming in and out of classes. And this is one of the walkways that joins one building to another. This is technically outdoors, but it is covered. This is still part of the Student Union building. And as you can see, there were a lot of people enjoying their lunches here and just hanging out with friends. There were also a lot of posters about events and upcoming fun things you can do to meet new friends. I really like the amount of natural light this place had, and you can see it's a really quite impressive glass ceiling. The student union, of course, is very involved in activism as well as student affairs, and if you have any issues about studying here or your time at University of Melbourne, you can always contact the student union to resolve your issues as well. This is actually Ida Bar. So Ida Bar actually used to be much bigger, but this is way cooler looking, but a little bit smaller. And Ida was actually named in honor of one of the first women who studied at the University of Melbourne. The bar is open on weekdays, and yes, it does serve alcohol. But as you can see, it was pretty small, but it opens only on weekdays. I wasn't sure if this was a library. I know that the University of Melbourne has 10 libraries, and this was definitely a studying area. I'm not sure if this is classified as a library. Like I said, this was also my first time to this new area. But as you can see, again, lots of computers and laptops for you to use. This was a really cool area. I really liked this one because there was like floor seating and benches that you can hang out with your friends at. We're walking through one of my favorite places to eat, or used to be, Sombrero, which has an outlet in the University of Melbourne itself. This cool building is actually the graduate building, which we'll be going to shortly. But before that, we're going to check out the merchandise store. So if you're a tourist or if you're a student and you want to get maybe a souvenir to say you've studied at the University of Melbourne, you can come check out the very cool merchandise store. At graduation, many people got the Barry the Bear, which is the mascot of the University of Melbourne. And here you have almost anything you can imagine with the University of Melbourne logo on it. When I came, it was during COVID or at the end of COVID, and they had given us actually vouchers. They don't do that anymore, but at the point of time, I was able to get like a hoodie and like a bunch of random stuff. This is the Union Mart, and it is run by the student union. And as far as I understand, it actually serves affordable meals. Right then, they were serving about $5 sandwiches for students. As we all know, cost of living has gone up. So if you need supplies or cheap meals, you can always check out the Union Mart. University of Melbourne has loads of events going on all the time, and some are run by different clubs and societies. And as you walk around the campus, you'll see notice boards of all the cool things going on. And hopefully, if you're a student, you'll participate and maybe make new friends. This is actually the Graduate Students Association, GSA, yes. So GSA has a building. So if you're a graduate student like I was, you'll get access to this building. And this building essentially is an additional space for you to study, eat. You can book meeting rooms, and sometimes there are events or lectures in here as well. This is one of the older buildings on campus as well. And as you can see, they retained a lot of the nice historic features of the building. I'm just taking a quick look around, and you get a vibe of what these older buildings feel like inside. Even though they're old, they're very well maintained and have been modernized, of course. There was a little event going on, and so there was a little buffet set up for that. For some students, your home or your apartment might be quite far away from campus. So it's really nice to have these like areas of refuge where you can fuel up, chill out, and just wait for your next lesson. Or if you want fast internet on campus and just hang out on campus and do your work, I guess. Now we're walking out into the main street. So this is actually kind of outside the campus or just outside the campus. And when we walk further up this street, you'll actually see the brand new train station. So this train station wasn't ready when I was there, but I didn't really have to use it because I was walking distance of the university. But you can see how close the train station is. You come out right there and you walk right into the campus. So now where I'm standing is literally on campus ground. So now we're walking up to the very iconic Welcome to Melbourne University sign, which is actually the John Medley building. I actually had classes in here, mostly arts faculty classes are held here. But the building is sadly slated to be demolished in about 2027. And people are petitioning to keep the building, and I think they should because it's really iconic. Here you'll see the very famous clock tower. In this area, you'll see all the historic buildings of the University of Melbourne, and you can really feel the history of the university and the fact that it's about 170 plus years old. This particular area is where all the tourists and I guess students and graduates as well like to come and pretend they're at Hogwarts or something. But it's very picturesque and it is beautiful for sure. So be sure to come here and get your pictures taken. I have many a time as well. It's really nice to walk through these historic parts, at least for me when I was studying here, because it really feels like, wow, this is a magical place. We're walking through the old arts building, that was what it's called, as well as some of the other places where you have classes, especially if you're an arts student. I think a lot of people wonder which university they should go to. I would say in terms of Australian universities, the University of Melbourne definitely has more rigorous courses, in my opinion. And as you can see, the facilities are top-notch. This was one of the places we would have tutorials and classes in. And even though there's old historic buildings, again, they are modernized inside. This is the arts building, which is also a fairly new building. I think it's less than 5 years old. When you enter these buildings, you'll see that they're all really well kept, really well maintained, and really beautiful architecture as well. Sorry about my finger, but it does have like glass ceilings and very cool staircases. There's also a lot of like exhibitions going on sometimes, and you'll find out about this if you are a student by going to the website or again checking out the posters around the university. Again, there are loads of spots to eat, chill, hang out with friends. And again, if you need to commute to the university, there are a lot of places where you can just hang out all day and wait for your next class. Yep, now you can see the beautiful ceiling that I was talking about. The classrooms in here are really very cool. I wasn't able to access it anymore, but take my word for it. They had really nice styles and vibes. It's hard to explain, but this is another very popular cafe because it's linked to the largest library in the Melbourne University, which is Baillieu Library. I'm not even sure that's like the right way to say it, but Baillieu Library. It's the largest library on campus, and this cafe is linked to it. So you'll see we're walking to the library right now, and right up front you have the librarian. So if you need any help, you can always approach them. The library used to be open 24 hours, but during COVID, it started to have reduced hours, and I don't think they ever went back to 24 hours, but I think it's open till midnight. So you'll have to check what the stats are for that now. But it does open fairly late, so if you do need to continue doing your research or writing a paper, this is the place that probably opens the latest on campus, I think. The cool thing about this library are the project rooms. So if you are doing a group project or you need to have discussion maybe, you can always book these project rooms, but be warned, they are very popular. So you'll need to go online at least a few days before to try to secure your place. An interesting thing about Australian libraries is you're actually allowed to eat in them. So where I'm from, Singapore actually, we are not allowed to eat in libraries. So that was something that was really unusual to me. This is the second floor of the library, and you have this great view looking down onto the first floor as well as the outside. I think the views are amazing. And you also have amazing vending machines. I was very pleased to see that they had Japanese drinks in the vending machines, and they are quite reasonably priced, like below $3 Australian. So, if you're wondering if you want to study at Melbourne University, I would advise you to compare the other universities you're looking at. And Melbourne University is a really convenient location. It's right in the city. It's very historic and cool. It has a ton of activities going on. I think a lot of people are worried about how student life is, but as you can see, there's a lot of people on campus, and if you make the effort, there's lots of clubs and activities to go to. That's, I think, built environment and architecture. There are a ton of buildings in the University of Melbourne. I think there's more than 70 or 80 buildings. So, of course, I wasn't able to bring you to every building, but these were just some of the highlights, and hopefully it gives you a taste of what the University of Melbourne is like. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour, and if you're hoping to apply or go to the University of Melbourne, I hope that your dreams come true and you get accepted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon next time.